Hi, my name is Jen. Welcome to my channel, All My Plants. Today's video, I believe I'm finally going to get around to some of that repotting I need to do. Some of them are new plants that I haven't, done anything with. They are as they came to me. And then some of them are plants which, if you're a regular viewer, you probably saw them in one of my recent videos where I was like, ugly. Good, bad, and ugly. This plant's not doing bad, but it is ugly. And it's because it's needed a repot for a while, and I think I'm going to finally get around to it. Stop putting it off. There are plenty of other plants around in here that I'm sure I'll grab throughout the duration of this video. This one might actually be able to go a couple days. I've recorded 2 videos ahead, so I've got a little bit of wiggle room to go ahead and, play as I'd like. No need for me to hurry to get this video done and out is basically what I'm saying. So, yeah. I guess we're going to start with this one here. It's the Monstera bulbasaur that I picked up at a local plant expo, like a mini plant expo that's near me. So yeah, it's cute. It was a TC baby that she grew out a bit and acclimated. It's in like a plug and a soil combination. Has a ton of roots down there. Let me see if I can get that close enough that you can see them. They're all curling around the bottom of the pot there. So yeah, yay, excited. I'm gonna pot it maybe in one of these, which might seem a little bit big, but I do use a chunky soil mix, and there is a lot of roots in this little bitty pot that I can see anyway. I assume it's that way all the way through. We'll find out. We'll find out, but I think this is the plan. Oh, and before I start, I've been complaining about my fungus gnat issue. For you, it probably seems like 2 weeks I've been complaining about that, but for me, it's only been today and maybe 2 days before today. So, this is the mosquito bits that I use. And I'm just going to dump some right in this soil. I'm also going to, I guess I can do that, like steep some of these in some water to go around and, put in my sprayer to go around and water everybody with some mosquito bit too. But since I'm potting these ones anyway, might as well just head it off at the pass before I even have to water them in. Or before I have to water them again. There we go. I'm just going to mix that right up in there. I'm probably going to have to mix more soil too. Someone did ask on a recent video and I forgot to reply. I'm so sorry, I'm the worst. I think I've got it in my head that I did reply because I meant to reply, but I was busy or something at the time. And then I realized 3 weeks later that I never replied. I'm so sorry. Somebody asked what my potting mix generally consists of, and it's basically not what I'm using in it, it's the texture that I'm aiming for, because I use all kinds of different things. This particular one has a lot of bark, a little bit of leca, a little bit of, I believe there's cocoa peat in here, probably regular peat. I avoid cocoa peat, and that's just because I find that it breaks down super fast. That, and I guess it's just the way I care for my plants. I'll rot plants a lot in like really heavy cocoa-based soils. So there's that in there. There's some chunky perlite in here. Regular size, like this is the size of the chunky. It's got dirt all stuck all over it. It's the size of maybe my pinky nail. It's, it's not super huge. Mosquito bits, earthworm castings. If I have vermiculite, I'll throw some of that in there. I'm just basically looking for a nice coarse, chunky mix that is, while it is fast draining, does retain a little bit of moisture. That's kind of what I'm shooting for all the time. Sometimes I have tree fern fiber. I don't currently. I do like tree fern fiber, but it is pricey, and that's basically the only thing that keeps me from using it all the time. I don't get it very finely milled if I use tree fern fiber. Some people prefer that. I don't. I like it. Pick up sticks for beetles. So yeah, that's basically what I've got in there, I believe, at the moment. I'm not loyal to any one thing as far as potting mixes go, except for perlite. I think I put that in just about everything. Some kind of perlite. So yeah. I'm going to try to get this little guy out of here and not... Oh, good. It almost fell right out. It's very convenient. No wrestling with it. I want this off. It's like the sponge type, which are my least favorite plugs. Oh, I think that root had a little bit of rot anyway. A little bit. I just ripped the root off. Probably from me waterboarding it since it got here. It's just dried very quickly. I might have to rethink what I was going to put this in. Just a little bit. Because it didn't have as many roots in the middle of the plant as it did at the bottom, if that makes any sense. I'm just trying to get some of this sponge off. I see some roots here and there. I'm trying to avoid the roots. I don't want to rip those off with the sponge. I understand why people use these though, because when I watered it, it instantly like fluffed right up. It's probably great for propagating or, you know, growing out tissue cultures or whatever. That, and I suppose they're probably pretty easy to, like, you know, you want everything really clean when you're trying to acclimate tissue cultures and pot them up and everything. You don't want to encourage any growth other than the growth of the plant. Yeah, I'm not gonna pick on that a whole lot, but I am gonna rethink what I potted in, I believe. I mean, it would maybe be okay in there, but I think I have something a tiny bit smaller, maybe. I'm not going for teeny tiny, but I think these are actually a teeny bit smaller. I'm going to say just a smidge, and it's mostly in circumference. I don't know if you can see the difference of the size there. They're close, but yeah. I can't remember what I was talking about now. My brain is super scattered. Super, super scattered. It's been going 9,000 miles a minute for quite a while now. And it's ready to take a break. I'm thinking. Ugh, that's not good. But here we are. Yeah, this is pretty chunky, so I think it'll be okay. That, and I'll pot it just a little bit deeper so that we don't have quite so much volume of soil around the plant. I'd say it's sufficient for life, you know, but I don't want it to be swimming either. Swimming in mud every time I water it. Oh, she's cute. Tiny bit more. Like I say, this is pretty barky, so I think it'll still drain well, drain fine. It is cute. Looks ridiculous in that pot, doesn't it? It'll catch up. Most Monstera, I think, seem to be pretty vigorous rooters. Unless it's Monstera like Lariana, or maybe that's just me. Cute. Okay, I'm going to set that aside for some water. That's an adorable little pot. I never seem to need adorable little pots, though. But I always wash them. I don't know. Maybe somebody else can use them. Or maybe someday I'll have some of those clarinervium seeds will actually get ripe. The fruits, the berries, will get ripe, and maybe then I'll use them to plant those in. I don't know. It's taken its sweet time. It's got to be pushing a year since it was pollinated and started setting seeds. Anyway, we're going to move on to this Angry Calathea worswickii. I don't think it currently has spider mites. I don't know, my vision's so bad I might have to go get my magnifiers and check it over. Or either that or I need my daughter to come over and really stare at my plants for me. Because she's like, she can zero in on a pest like you wouldn't believe. I need to be able to do that. I need to make an eye appointment, but for now I have some readers or magnifiers, whatever you'd call them. Let's see if we can't get it in the new pot first, and then I guess I'll look at it. Yeah, so it's definitely not root bound. I mean, there's plenty of root, but it wasn't root bound, but I guess I just picked up the whole piece and put it in a new pot. I didn't knock any of the old soil off, which I don't think it's, you know, necessary. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Most plants won't be angry with you for it. And I don't think this one was. It's just that it put out so many shoots off to the side, like that one there. Oh, that it was very tight in the pot. So I'm not, once again, I'm just going to take that whole mass and put it into a larger pot. So from 4-inch to 6-inch, I'm guessing is what that size difference is. And hopefully it will enjoy having a little bit of extra room to grow, because I'm getting tired of watering it every 5 seconds. No, if that's what it needs, I'll do that, but at the same time, I don't think it's enjoying waiting for me to realize that it needs to be watered every 5 seconds. So, yeah, I think it'll enjoy a little bit of an up pot. Oh, yesterday was Mother's Day, so hope all my mom friends had a wonderful Mother's Day. I did. I hung out with the kids. They kidnapped me, and we just kind of rode around. I saved a snapping turtle off the side of the road, or out of the middle of the road. I did not pick up this snapping. I am not that one at all. I'm not that one. But I will take my shoe off and use my shoe to scoot it across the road. Here's the video evidence of that. I just didn't want him to get squished. That, and apparently turtle soup is tasty, so people will grab them off the side of the road and make turtle soup. I don't care for turtle soup at all. But, you know, I'm not judging. That's one less turtle that'll be soup. I mean, he might in the future, but not today. Not on my watch. So that was fun. I mean, we were just riding around, just kind of, you know, being goofy, enjoying the nice weather. It was 88 for a high yesterday. I think right now outside it's like 51 and raining. It's not fun. I'm not enjoying that weather. I also, we cooked out, like, we have a smoker and a Blackstone out there. So I also got to have my young people around for dinner. I think the oldest and youngest had to go see their other mother, their original mom, the OG. But yeah, they stopped by to see me after, and we hung out and did all the things. And of course my daughter, middle daughter, she was here with me for a while yesterday, and then she took me the day before. I went to the local plant expo, where I got the Monstera Bulbasaur, in fact. And she took me actually to that, so that was a good time. I had a lot of fun. It's just been a good weekend. Good weekend. I keep trying to lose my voice from talking so much, I think, over the weekend. Because I have a complete inability to just be quiet, apparently. Which is bizarre, because people used to tell me all the time, you're too quiet, you're too quiet, you're too quiet. They wouldn't recognize me now. No, actually when I'm not recording, I am generally quiet. I guess unless you get me with my kids or like one of my friends or something, then I can be really super chatty, but for the most part, I'm content to just sit and listen to other people chat and tell me whatever they want to tell me. So yeah, I'm hoping that that'll make that happy. I don't see any huge air gaps in there, so I'm assuming it'll be alright. It's hard to tell when you first pot it up. You know, things settle after you water it in. Things kind of shift and settle in the pot. I don't know. Hopefully, knock on everything, that'll be alright. We're going to clean that up and check it out here after I get make some more mess. Get some other stuff repotted. I can't even remember. Oh, let's do that one anthurium. It's Fairchild Tropical Garden Crystalline by Zara Michelle. It's currently in an 8-inch pot, but it's just fully rooted. And I think youngest daughter just repotted that for me in August. No, October, sorry. I think I'm going to put it in this, and I might have to trim the stem, which is fine. I'll probably, if I do, I will pot up the base of it as well. For youngest daughter, she took the Anthurium vitarifolium, and the other one that I said I was having a problem with, I believe it was Fort Sherman by Darkest Panama. So I wish her luck. I wish her luck with those. She's better at growing a lot of things that I'm just not. She's pretty good with the Anthurium. So maybe she'll have better luck, and if not, she can throw it away. It's not going to hurt my feelings. You know, I figure it's better that somebody else try and maybe have success with it than for me to just give up and compost it. Like I said, I will if there's something obviously wrong with it, or if I just know, this is infested with thrips, or I just know that, something horrible is going on there. I'm not trying to give somebody my problems, I'll put it that way. All right, let me go grab this plant, and I guess we'll get in there. Okay, I think I got all my pieces and parts together. Scissors. This is the plant in question. Like I said, Fairchild Tropical Garden Crystalline by Zara by Michelle. And this is the pot that I'm hoping to fit it into. If I could actually show it to you, that would be splendid. So it's not any bigger around. It might actually be an inch or so smaller, but it's deeper. And like I said, I will cut that chunk if I need to. Also, if it's just plainly obvious that it's not going to hang out in that pot very long, I believe this is the same size. So yeah, it'll go back into the same size, but hopefully with less chunk and less root, because it is fully rooted in there. Some roots are hanging out the side of the pot. I don't know what you'll be able to see from this distance, but because you're about 6 feet from me to actually get this into the frame. So I'm not sure. But the only way to find out for sure, I guess, is to dig around in there and get started, right? Fumble! So while it's not desperate for a repot, I'm kind of desperate to repot it just because every time I pick it up, it's dry. And I do water it pretty regularly. I keep most of my Anthurium wet. Like, it's in a cover pot, and I leave water in the bottom of the cover pot when I water it every 3 to 4 days, and it's bone dry every time I pick it up. Not, it's a desert. This one doesn't seem to mind drying too much, but, I would rather it not get quite as dry as it has been. So, like, this is light. And this is another plant that really didn't enjoy the lower humidity. That's the newest leaf with the holy damage there. It was just losing moisture faster than it could take it up from the roots. So, well, I lied. There's the tiniest bit of moisture at the bottom. But the rest of it looks pretty dry through and through. I am going to be pretty disruptive because, like I said, if I can get to that chunk to cut it a little shorter, I'm probably going to do that. I mean, the roots look good. It doesn't look like I've rotted any, so yay for that. Or dry rotted any either. Sometimes you see desiccated, sad little roots when you're repotting a plant. I'm actually not seeing that. I don't know why, but I feel like my husband might be home. That or the cats are just body slamming each other in the other room. Could go either way. They like to play rough. This soil has actually broken down a fair amount since October. I keep having to think. Yeah, we were all kind of just hanging out, and she repotted a few things for me in October. I think there's a video on my channel when she potted this up. But yeah, It's, I'm usually a pretty barky person, and I'm not noticing a lot of bark. Not all bark is created equal in your potting mix. Some of it breaks down faster than others. I've occasionally, mostly it's been years and years and years, but plants that I've waited a long time to repot, often I see very little, if any, bark at all. This has some bark still, don't get me wrong, but it's not quite to the extent that it was just a few short months ago. So there's a piece that's bigger toward the top. I can still see lava rock, perlite, definitely a bunch of an additive that I was just talking about earlier that for the life of me, it's gone right now. Vermiculite. Vermiculite in here. You know, it kind of has a shine to it. It's kind of like a metallic gold shine here and there throughout this potting mix that I'm seeing, and I'm assuming that's from the vermiculite. I don't think there's as much chunk down here as I thought. Or maybe I just haven't gotten to it yet. I don't know. But I don't feel it across the bottom, you know what I mean? Or near the bottom of this root ball, which is, I mean, got a lot of roots in there. Quite nice rootage. And in the center of this, it's dry even. And denser. Like the soil in there is dense. I'm assuming we didn't take all of the soil off the last time. I'm not sure. Not sure. Where is the chunk? The chunk, the base of the stem. Because yeah, I'm probably almost certainly going to have to cut this if it's in any way going to fit in that pot. I'm not trying to make it fit, but you know what I mean? If it would, that would be convenient. That would be convenient if I can get it to fit without having to be really aggressive about convincing it to do so. Alright, I feel some stem, and I'm probably going to go ahead and cut right there. Not that you'll be able to see anything, because I can't even see it. I can just feel it down in there. And it'll be quite a lot of this plant coming off when I do that. I would really like to have a better visual of what I'm doing. You know? Be brave, Jennifer. Ooh, there's a big chunky root there. Am I going to cut through that? I didn't cut through that. Okay. So yeah, I'd say that can fit in that pot. Whether or not it will stay very long, I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to set her down for just a second. And look at this guy here. Because I might cut it again. This base of this plant. This would be really easy to clean up if I just take it and maybe run some water over it. The soil isn't like compacted on there, it's just the roots are so dense and tangled with themselves that it's really hard to work the soil out from in between. That's all. So just finding the base in here is tricky. Have I found it? Nope, that's a root. I think I must have cut this actually before, because the actual base of the plant is maybe only about an inch there. But it looks good. What I can see of it here is great. So I'm going to stuff it in the pot. This size looks reasonable. Where it has no foliage, I do want the base snug in the pot. If it takes and if it does well and one of my daughters wants it, then they're more than welcome to pot it after that. But for now, I think the safest bet is to have it snug in the pot so it does use the water pretty quickly and doesn't just sit wet with no foliage to, you know, transpire. I will pot that up in a minute. I'm just going to set it behind me for now. I want to get this bigger one potted up. Just a tiny bit of leca on the bottom to help it wick up some moisture when I do start setting it in a puddle again, basically. I'll put that soil down there. Is that going to do all right in there? I think it will, for quite a while. I don't know, I'm always surprised by how fast certain plants root out. It seems like some just go crazy immediately. They're just super ready to take right off. And then others are slow and sluggish for me. Even when it's different kinds of anthurium, I have different results as far as the happenings in the root department. I want to get this as deep as I can in here. Try to keep all the roots out of the wind. I guess that'll do. I don't want to snap those petioles, but I'm trying to hold it in place while I pot it up. Oop. I like this plant, and it does really well during like active growing season, or what everybody says is active growing season. I won't say they stop indoors for me in the winter, not most of them. I think I had one or two that just really hasn't done much, but I don't know if they know any difference that it's not active growing season in here because I have plant lights on all the time. This is both one of the warmer and cooler rooms in my house. It's one of the warmer rooms because the heat's in here. It's one of the cooler rooms because the air conditioning is also in here. That heats and cools about half of my house is located in this room, so to get it warm or cool in other rooms, I have to really crank it up in here. Trying to fill some of the pockets that those roots have created. There we go. That was pretty effective. We like that method. When all else fails, jiggle it. But yeah. That, and there's so many lights in here, and it still seems very dim to me. I checked with my light meter not too long before I let my youngest daughter borrow it, because I've kind of figured out, just based on how it looks, what is and isn't working for a plant. But it is definitely not low light anywhere in here. Like the lowest light is the shelf that's on my wall back there. Everybody says that's probably my nicest looking planty area. Agree. But yeah, none of them are really getting low light. So I don't know. I guess active growing season, what I mean when I say that is when plants outside would also grow, and when the humidity is generally better, and you know, things like that. I guess is what I'm saying when I say active growing season. Your nose will never itch till your hands are dirty. I'm wondering, this feels like it might be wanting to be unstable where I cut so much. Yeah, did you see it? Kind of just flopping around in there. Where I cut so much of this stem off. That was really helping to support this plant upright. I could stake it, I guess. Dang. I just potted it up and there we go. I was going to say I potted it in such a way that some of the roots were already sticking out of the vents in the side of the pot, like the vent holes, drainage holes, whatever they are up the side. But I managed to smush them back down in there, so hopefully they'll stay in there just a little bit longer. Alright, I think when I water it, that will also help it to settle down in here a little bit better, a little bit more snugly. I guess if is obvious that it needs a little bit of support from a stake, then I'll do that after I get it watered. But we're going to pot some more first. Alright, you just hang out right here. And let's do this. Let me put the tag back in that. Hopefully I'll remember what that is until I write a tag. I don't know if she does the leca in the bottom of her pots or not, but I'll do a little bit in there just in case she does. That, and I think it'll be helpful for me while it's still here to help it to kind of maintain some moisture while it's hopefully reshooting from somewhere. That's way too much soil for all those roots. I'm going to leave just the very tippy top of this exposed, of the stem there. Just the very tippy top. All of the rest of it I'm gonna fully bury. It is really hard to, when you have that much root, actually repot anything and get soil, or you know, whatever you use. Pawn. Leca I think would be exceedingly difficult because they're just so dense. Unless you already had leca stuck to the inside there. But if you went and picked it all off and then tried to get it back down in all those little nooks and crannies in the roots, shoo, you're my hero. Because I can't do that. It's hard enough for me to just get some soil perlite and bark down in there. And honestly, it's probably mostly just the soil part of this mix that gets down in there anyway. I might get lucky and accidentally get a few pieces of bark down in there, some perlite or something, I don't know. But it's tricky. I can see pockets every time I repot. Like, I repotted this one before, well, my daughter did. And there were some pockets that we just couldn't get out because the roots were already dense at that point. I could see one right there. Pocket with some roots in it. But, you know, it's not going to be a terrible thing because it's covered above and below. So the humidity will still kind of hold in that area. I don't think it's going to be an issue. It might prove me different, but until it does, I'm not going to fret about it. That, and once again, water it in. That'll help close up some of those pockets a little bit. It's going to be a-okay. Alright, and it is just barely sticking out above the soil there, where the growth will hopefully come from, if it do good. Alright, what do I do now? I had another anthurium over there in a pot that's just green, so green, and some of the roots were coming out of the bottom. I can't remember which one it was. I'm going to say it was either the Pap Legend or the Drosseria guineala. And I don't think either one's desperate for a repot, but the pot is so green, I'm sure it wouldn't hurt its feelings. Maybe I'll do that next, unless I find something else in my travels before then. This is the last, no, I have one other pot this size. I was going to say this is the last tower pot I have in this size, but it's not. There's one more other than this one, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to use that for that, because the only other tower pot I have, the only other size I have is this now. Like it was 3 different sizes that came in it, and there was 3 of each size. I used everything kind of in between the 2 of these sizes, the mid-range. Maybe I should go water these because that was already pretty dry. I'll go do that, maybe tidy up just a smidge, and I'll be back. And maybe go feed my kitty, because he's just fallen off to nothing. He's so hungry. Cuz. Boy, you're shedding so badly. Cuz. Good kitty. Okay, I'm back. It is the same day. I've just had a wardrobe change because I was covered in mud. I went and helped my husband for a while. I was working, so I had to change my clothes. I was going to do the Dresselaria bigoniella because that is the anthurium that has roots hanging out the bottom. This one here, I think it's got one little one in the center trying to come out of the pot, but it is pretty green. It's greener, the pot I mean, even than the Dresselaria bigoniella is. So I can't really see really well what's going on with the roots, but either way, a prettier pot wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, or at least a clean pot, you know what I mean? So, and I think this one only has the tiniest little bit of root coming out, so. Also the Dresselaria, I'm not messing with that one because it has a tiny new emergent, and I don't know, it's not going to hurt it to sit for another week or whatever. So I'm going to do this one. It looks very much like it should fit in one of these pots, no problem. So that's the plan. Unless it's crazy rooted in there. I don't think it's going to be so rooted that it needs a wider pot than this. I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. Yeah, I don't really see any roots coming out anywhere else on this one, so, but it's so gross. Just like I said, it just kind of happens from sitting with no cover pot, nothing to block the light, where they're clear. They just kind of turn green. It doesn't seem to be bothering the plant any, but it bothers me a little. Ooh, there's a root stuck somewhere down there. It's probably the one, there's just one teeny one that was there, that was it. Going through the center of the pot there, and I just broke it. Didn't have much choice, I guess. Cut the pot all up. No, it's not crazy rooted. It could go into the same size pot, I believe. All the roots look good and healthy, a little green from exposure to light, I guess, but nothing crazy. I think I'm going to pull off the oldest two leaves. That one's kind of got some yellow spotting on it. This one here, same thing. It's not anything necessarily wrong with it, just starting to yellow a little bit. It's fine. Like I said, eventually I will get these back to pretty and good. Eventually. Just a nice soil freshen up. This is not the pot that I had prepared. The leca layer is a little bit deeper on this pot. I think that's going to be fine in there. You know, I could cut some of the stem off. I'm not though, because it doesn't have any roots any farther up the stem, I guess, where I just pulled those two leaves off. I think I had it buried up to that point. This is not a very old plant. Not at all. I think I'm going to let it, next repot, I'll probably trim that stem because it is, you know, a 3-inch stem already. Yeah, I think that's going to be the way I want to go. That way I can encourage more roots farther up there for now. I want to mess with the clarinervium, but I'm not going to. Not just yet. It's fairly well rooted in that pot too. I think it's in a 10-inch. No, it's in an 8-inch pot. It took me a minute. But it was, I already cut some of the stem off of that one, I believe, also in October, even with it producing berries ever so very slowly. I still cut it. It never missed a beat. Clarinervium is just a tough plant. And it's not that it makes a bad mother plant, it just makes a very slow mother plant. Like, it's so tough, you can't possibly think that that's going to be a bad mother plant. It's just the time commitment. And the plant does look rough. Oop. Its newest leaf looks pretty good, but I've been blasting it with light, so it's definitely got some crispiness and some bleaching on the leaves. That and it's just doing all that work. It's doing so much work. Okay, so now I've got it buried deeper in the pot, and I've left room to, I guess you can say, to potentially, as it grows, unless I repot it again in 6 months, as it grows to top that up. So, and yay, less green. I don't know if I have a cover pot that's quite this tall, but I'm sure I can find something to put it in to keep some of the light off of it. You know what I mean? So maybe we won't turn green again quite so quickly. And I did treat this one for spider mites. Yes, spider mites. I didn't see any, but it was sitting with some other plants, and my daughter's like, is that spider mites? I don't know. I don't know. So I sprayed it, and I wiped it down also, because it's really hard on some plants to just spray and walk away, especially if they have any kind of texture or already like damage. It seems like the spray doesn't really get everywhere you need it to. So hopefully rubbing it around on there helps. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I've got an alocasia that I got from Home Depot. And I think I want to try, I'm just putting the tag back in that. I think I want to try to repot that. It looks like 2 in there. Hold on, I'll bring it over instead of me just staring at it and trying to describe it to you. It's this one here that I got from Home Depot. It just says Elephant's Ear Alocasia Spa. Attractive foliage. It was $25. Yeah, there's nothing on here that tells me precisely what this is. But I picked it up because there is 2. I don't have this, I don't think. Whatever this is. But this one here is sport variegated. It's green on green. And I don't know if you can see. We'll look at it closer. That might be the only... No, I see a tiny bit on this one. I was going to say that might actually be the only variegated leaf on this. No, this one has some too. Green on green is not the easiest to spot, unless it's really big, you know, sections of it. But it's in the Home Depot mix, which I don't love. I will rot it for sure in that. But yeah, I just want to get it out of there and maybe go... Okay, sorry, before my battery so rudely died, I was saying I just think I want to separate these variegated and non-variegated and maybe do a little bit of corm hunting and get them out of this mix, because, I mean, while it is fluffy, it's also, it looks like 100% cocoa peat and maybe some rice hulls. Not sure. Either way, that's generally not how I would grow anything, so. I don't know what size pot I'm going to need, so I'm just going to wait on that. This is not a huge pot, and where I'm not putting them both back together, or at least I don't think I am. I don't know what I need. Okay. That was easy enough. Plenty of roots. Hopefully I don't make them all angry. Yeah, this just looks like fungus gnats would really have a party in it. I see no, like, perlite or anything like that in here. Did I even show you the roots? Maybe I did. I'm not sure. But yeah, they look pretty decent. Ooh. I'm just oohing because this is like, the texture of it doesn't feel great to me. I am texture person. I have issues with certain textures, especially with food. Not that this makes me think of food at all, but you know, certain food textures, I'm not eating that. Stuffing, honestly, is one. Couldn't tell you. It's not the flavor of it, it's the texture. And it seems like that's one thing everybody wants for Thanksgiving, you know? Not me. You can have my portion. This is quite well rooted down here. I'm trying to be polite to the roots. My arm's gonna fall off. Whew, there we go. Trying to be polite and not tear them up, but I am gonna have to break them apart a little bit, I think, to separate these two. What are you doing? Where's my ball? Where's the toy? Where is it? You gonna go get it? You gonna bring it here? I'll throw it for you. I'll throw it in the house for you. I will. I'll throw it in the house. You gonna go get it? He's not gonna go get it. He's stingy. It's weird. I don't know if I'm gonna find any corms on here. It's unusual, isn't it? I don't know. I guess some alocasia really don't corm as fast as others. You know, some are very generous with the corms, and others are quite stingy. Maybe this is a stingy one. Because just based on the amount of roots, I'd say it's been potted long enough to have settled in and produced some, but so far I'm not seeing any. If I try to pull that off now, I'm just going to lose all the roots. I was thinking about it. Could you see me? I was thinking about it. It passed through my head. The thought did, to just go ahead and rip them apart. I'm not in that much of a hurry. I have the time to sit here and fiddle with it a little bit. I just always convince myself, like, I have to do this fast. I don't have to do it that fast. Why can't I just fiddle with it? You know what I mean? See what I can tease loose here. Nobody rushes me quite as much as I rush me, if that makes any sense. Ugh. I'm definitely losing some roots. I mean, I'm trying not to. It's the secondary roots, not primary roots, I don't think. For the most part. Maybe I have lost one or two of the larger ones, but I see a lot of like the finer roots. Alright, now let's do a little bit of wiggling. And more teasing, because they're still pretty well tangled up in there. Daggone. They're BFFs and they do not wish to part. There's a fungus gnat flying around. Oh, I meant to get some water and put some mosquito bits in it to soak while I was doing this, and I forgot. Okay, all right. Oh, please don't rip. All right, yay. 2 separates. Yeah, I see not one quorum anywhere. Is that bizarre? I don't know. Like I said, I'm definitely no alocasia expert, but I don't know that I've ever dug around in an alocasia quite this size and not found a single quorum. Strange. I'm just trying to knock off even more of this mix because it definitely looks like something I will rot every single root in. It's dense. It's very dense. I mean, it's fluffy but dense at the same time, if that makes any sense. There's not much as far as air pockets go in there or room for drainage. So, yeah, I want to knock quite a bit of it off. Not worried about getting every bit of it, because I'm pretty sure I just inhaled some. I was going to say, I assure you if I do, I'll also tear more than half the roots off. Okay. I might put this right back in the same pot that it came out of. Just with fresh soil, I think. Because even though this one is showing none of that variegation, but I mean, it's pretty. I think it's pretty. The backs, the veins on the backs are even nice. They're like purpley. Yeah. All right, let me move this out of the way somewhere over here. Hopefully my dog won't try to stomp through it. Oh boy, I'm gonna have a mess. Hopefully I've got enough soil. I mean, I can mix more, I guess, but... put it in that. Oh, that's the cover pot. That seems kind of snug, actually. Now that I've removed all the other stuff from the roots, maybe I'll put it in this. This is, I took the Fairchild Tropical Garden Crystallinum by Zara Michelle out of here. I think I'll put it in there because it's a little bit wider. It'll give it a little bit more room to grow. Yeah. Why did I put some? I do it all the time. I put a ton of soil in the bottom and then I'm like, well, maybe that was too much. If anybody knows what this is other than Anthurium spa, please feel free to tell me because I really couldn't venture a guess. And I know I have a few friends on here who are great with alocasia, so, and great with identifying them. And I appreciate that every time you all help me with, even if it's not alocasia, whether it's Anthurium or Hoya, because there are a few that I have that I'm still like, oh, I don't know what it is. It happens to me all the time that I purchase them and they weren't labeled or something like that. Okay, let's see where we're gonna go with this one. It has smaller roots, clearly, but they look good. I mean, I think they're good. What size am I gonna put them in? I mean, I guess that's reasonable. I think. I think it's reasonable. Let's see if I have enough soil to do this. Yeah. I had to stare at it for a minute and make sure I wanted to commit to that. Given up on my little scoop, at least temporarily. Just use a pot. Trying to grab something to scoop the pot, anything at this point. Alright, I'm going to go with that there. And it does appear to be buried deeper, but I think, once again, when I water it in, some of that's going to kind of fall into the, see it leaning over, fall into the spaces in between the roots. And I think also that will help stabilize it in the pot some. This one did have a massive amount of spider mites when I brought it home. I didn't see it in the store, but as soon as we got out of the car and we were, you know, walking through the sun, it was just covered. The light hit them just right, I guess, that I could actually see. Look out, Weenie. Look out. Can I set this right where you're standing? No? Okay, I guess I'll just set it over here then. That's fine. I am going to go water these because they were actually a little bit drier than I thought, considering that they were, you know, what they were potted in. And then I guess we'll see what to get into next. I'm not sure. Or we might be done for today, but I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know. But yeah, I'll be back. Okay, it is indeed the next day. I keep forgetting this mosquito bit tea. So I'm going to take probably a couple tablespoons of this. Does it have directions for this purpose? It says 4 tablespoons per gallon of water, soak for 30 minutes. Scoop off the floating granules. I'm not going to worry about that. And then compost or discard the used granules. Okay, so I'm going to start some soaking, about 4 tablespoons. And I'm actually I'm filling up my pump sprayer, and that's what I'm going to go around and water in here with, and I'm going to do the same thing out in the greenhouse. Even though I don't really notice any in the greenhouse, they will become a problem sooner or later, as well as actual mosquitoes. So some of my shelves have like these dips in them that will hold water, like standing water will sit there. Yeah, it evaporates pretty quick in the sun, but sometimes it doesn't. So, you know, just trying to contain things before they become an issue. I'm going to spill these all over the floor. That's not a goal today. What do you think? Is that probably 6 tablespoons? I don't know. It's fine. Like I said, I'm trying to fill actually I think it's a 2.5 gallon sprayer. I don't know. Let's look at the sprayer. This 2 gallon. But yeah, and I guess while I wait for them to soak, I'm going to clean up my mess because I've made one. And And I can't really say I've done much tidying up since I got back from Charleston. So yeah. I just need to put things away, put the plants back on the shelves. My bird's gonna let us know he's alive. Also, the lights on the shelf behind you didn't want to come on for me this morning. Half of them did and half of them did not. Oh, they're coming on now. I guess I'll wait one more day to change them until they just won't come on. That bird doesn't like me. He hollers because he thinks I'm talking to my husband. He loves my husband. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to go plunk this in that water, let it soak for 30 minutes, and clean up for 30 minutes in here. You're not going to have to watch the whole 30 minutes, I assure you. We're just going to zip right through it on your end. Okay, I've got this all mixed up and full to the line. Maybe past that. So I'm going to attempt to get at least the plants that are dry watered with some of this. This is the mosquito bit tea water, if you missed that. Not all of them need watered. So, I mean, I guess I'll get them next go around, I hope. That's the plan. This is so thirsty. There's 2 in here. They've gotten leggy, I guess, from not getting great light. I'm thinking about propagating them and trying to get them just in better shape. Kind of maybe starting them over. It's Monstera constellations, 2 of them in here. Not looking super happy about anything. I don't need your help, Pippi. I don't need no help. I got this. I think she doubts my ability. Man, the fungus gnats flying around in here. This should have been done at least a month ago. At least a month ago. I got to leave here in a couple hours and go work for a little while with my husband. I'll come back covered in mud. I mean covered. That's the nature of the beast though. It's fine, I'm not mad. I just watered most of this. I'll give you some bottom water, how about that? Maybe get that leca to wick some of that up in there. It has been some days. I'm not sure how many days, but time has definitely passed since I was last on here. I have spider mites. Don't I always? And it's just kind of like that time of year when it seems like pests just randomly pop up everywhere. My youngest daughter and I were talking about it last night, and she's like, I thought it was like just a little bit closer to summer, you know, warmer before that happened. I don't know. I don't actually remember. But I know I get like usually a surge of them in like fall and spring. So I don't know exactly when, but I found them on the Spirit of Sanctity. again. I don't know, you probably won't be able to see them because they're just tiny little white specks that are crawling around. I had to break out the magnifiers to actually see them, so I've just kind of been wearing those and inspecting. And I've got a old rug set in the floor over there just so I don't drip all over the floor, but I'm going to spray it down and set it on that rug. Because, you know, I've got some time this morning before I have other obligations. This is neem oil, because it's actually quite effective for spider mites. Alcohol, a little bit of water, and some soap. So it's mostly alcohol, but yeah, the neem oil is pretty effective for them. So I'm just going to spray every bit of it and set it over there to dry. And I'll almost certainly have to do everything a few times to actually get rid of them. I thought I saw them on this, the new little Windlinger the other day, but I wasn't sure and I didn't have my magnifiers then, so I'm just kind of looking it over now. It's morning time, my birds are all hung up. You know, I think I already sprayed this. I don't see anything, so I'm going to leave it alone for now. I'll check some of these other anthurium that are in this cabinet, though, while I'm here. You know, if you didn't know what I was doing, you'd probably just think I was a Looney Tune. Just staring at this plant like this. That would be fine with me, though, if you thought that. I don't see anything on that one either. Let's check the Carla over here in the corner, because of course it's being quiet and seems to be being well behaved. Usually that's when they're not. Yeah, this has got spider mites. I don't think you'll be able to see, maybe the camera will pick it up, maybe it won't, but right up there, there's the tiniest bit of webbing, and maybe a spider mite or two hung up in there, maybe some exoskeletons. But yeah, I'm gonna spray it. I don't think it's done anything in the root department yet. No. This was the one I was saying was an import that I purchased at the Big Plant Expo. So it's not growing any roots, but it is growing a small colony of spider mites. Also, if you have pets and you're using neem oil with cats particularly, it's not great for them. Your dogs, it's not so bad, but cats don't cope with it well, so use caution. Okay, where there's one spider mite in the cabinet, there's more. Let's look at this guy here. This is the, who is this? Red Vein Dark Phoenix by Doc Block Red Crystal, and I hate messing with it while it has a nice new Forbidden Chocolate leaf. Forbidden Chocolate. It's very pretty. My leaves are so dirty. I was just telling my daughter I haven't showered plants in forever. I got really discouraged with it. I used to love to shower my plants in like really wash the leaves and all that, but I just got discouraged after I had some fungal or bacterial issues. And I haven't done it in a long time, so I'm not seeing anything on this, but we might just give it a light spritz as preventative maintenance. And finally get rid of the dead leaf that I said a few videos ago, probably by now, that I was going to remove. Oh, my back is killing me. I constantly stare at it. Just a light spritz. I'm putting them in the floor to dry and not right back under lights or in cabinets or whatever, because often they'll burn. They'll get little spots on the leaves. I guess it's from the alcohol or maybe even the oil kind of amplifying the effects of the lights. This is the new little Bulbasaur. I don't see anything there, but once again, it's been in a cabinet where I have found spider mites just now, so it's always something in the cabinet. You would think in the cabinet everything would be nice and protected and nothing would pop up in here. That is not the way cabinets work, or tents, or any of that stuff. Stuff just gets in. Instead of squinting at it, maybe I should put on the magnifiers. They hit my eyelashes, though. Yeah, that's not the way cabinets and pop boxes and stuff like that work. Stuff sneaks in and then it just goes crazy in there. This is the Pap by Carla by Species Black Panama. I don't see anything, so just a light spritz. Probably seems a little bit excessive to be spraying when I actually don't see anything to spray. But, y'all, I'm so done with pests. I'm so done with them. Why is the bird growling? I don't see anything on here. This is the variegated holiday cactus. Usually I don't have any problems with them other than maybe some scale occasionally, but it's growing. That was coming when I got it. These little new pink bits up here have just recently started, so that's fun. Seems to be doing good. Move that to the side. Oh, this Monstera. Yeah, it has spider mites. I'm surprised it doesn't have thrips. Alright. That's what's left of the Indonesian mint Adansonii, Monstera Adansonii that I had. Could also use some water. I think thrips got it and knocked it down, so I just took a cutting and it was in a bin forever. Yeah, boy. Check this Anthurium Minahasa by Red Crystal. I don't see anything. Isn't that funny how some plants, they can all be together and some are just like, nah, I'm not going to get any pests, and then others are just like, you know what, I'm going to be covered in every pest you can imagine. And it's kind of always like, no! The plants you least want to have pests on. I mean, you don't want to have pests on any, but you know. Let's check this one. This is the Papillolaminum Legend, which seems to always kind of look pesty. but I never see pests. It's so weird. Really, really weird. I think we're just going to spray it anyway. It's got cat hair on it. Yeah, I see nothing, but it always kind of looks pesty. What I mean by that is, like, I don't know if it's just damage from the leaf coming out, but doesn't that look a little pesty? I don't know. I'm going to spray it anyway. Just in case. Maybe, oh, maybe I can't see for looking. I don't know. Shoot, it's getting warm in here now that I closed that door. Ugh. My back. Another one that's been looking a little pesty lately. It just put out a new leaf. It's the Dark Phoenix, I think. Yeah, Dark Phoenix. And the newest leaf on that also has a similar look to it, like it's been damaged by some pests. It looked like that while it was emerging. Hold on, I will bring it closer. I'm just kind of trying to hold it in the light here so that hopefully I can see. See what? I don't know. I see some actual spider web. What appears to be some actual spider's web. But I see no pests. I don't know, so this was the most recent leaf until this one here started to emerge. But yeah, it kind of looks pesty. So does this one, kind of looks pesty. I'm just guessing that it's because they're sticking to each other or sticking to themselves. Because I don't see anything. I'm going to spray it, but I mean, I really don't see anything. Driving me crazy. It's funny, sometimes it really doesn't take much to damage emerging anthurium leaves. Why can't I speak? Sometimes it really doesn't take much to damage emergent anthurium leaves, and then other times I beat them all around and they're fine somehow. I don't know. I really don't know if it's, you know, just like I said, from emerging, maybe in lower humidity or what. Or if it is pesties, but I really don't see anything, and it's driving me crazy trying to figure out the issues with some of these plants and not being able to get very nice leaves. I know it's still early in the season. My humidity still isn't great, and like some are coming out like apparently well. This is Pat by Hoffmanii, I believe. Yeah, and that one looks like it's coming out just fine, but not all of them do. Like, that was the one before, so. While I'm talking about this, it's fungus gnats. I did, I believe, earlier in this video, which would have been a few days ago, go around and water with some mosquito bit tea. That emergent is so pretty. It's orange. So hopefully the mosquito bit tea helps to knock down the population of fungus gnats. It will. Just, it's not instant, unfortunately. Not instant. I don't see anything. So I'm not going to spray this one. I probably did when I repotted it. I usually tend to spray them down. It helps get some of the dirt and the mess that I've made of the plant off of the plant. It looks pretty good though. I can see some roots trying to do a grow. There's some in there trying to move around a little bit in that pocket. Some there. I don't know. Alright, I'm gonna put that one back. You're fine. You can be as you are. You don't need my help. The battery died, but I have just been continuing to do the same. I don't see any spider mites, but I see enough webbing to make me suspicious. Okay, what did I do with the spray? Go on, Peep. Sorry, you can't play around there right now. Come on, Peep, Peep. Psst, psst. Do you really gotta bring your ball in here right now? I think I just repotted this earlier in the video, but I didn't treat it for spider mites or anything. I have previously. Definitely has damage. Like old spider mite damage. And I didn't cut off any of the damaged leaves yet. I've just left them for the moment. While this plant kind of settles into its new pot. It's really hard to say. There's not enough light in this room. It sounds absurd. Yeah, there might be some around the curled edges of some of the leaves. I'll bring it closer, maybe you can spot it. Kind of right down that edge. I do see a little bit of webbing in there, so I'm really going to saturate this one, but I'm going to take it to the sink for that. Because, I mean, it's just going to be dripping. I'm going to turn it upside down, sideways, every which way. I'm pretty sure this one has some spider mites still hanging out in all the little nooks and crannies and the curled edges of the leaves that I have yet to remove. I probably will remove some of the very worst ones, but you know, if it's just got a crispy tip or something like that, I'll probably leave that for now. But yeah, I'll be back. I'm gonna go do that where I can make a mess. I've got a variety of plants. I've got a couple of philodendron that I want to repot just so that I can get them on moss poles. I have this Tenanthe here. Nope. Calathea. It says Calathea, so I'm assuming it's Calathea. In a, it's like what I'd use as a cover pot, but it's planted in here. And I think I want to move it into, you know, a pot with drainage. Because I don't trust myself necessarily in no drainage. With some stuff I do, but I have no idea. This could be soil all the way to the pot, to the bottom. That, and I'm not familiar with this soil mix at all. It looks pretty dense. So, yeah, maybe a cactus. I think I've got a cactus. And I might fidget with the tiniest allocation you've ever seen and trying to transfer it over to semi-hydro. It's a Aslanii, but it's so small. If it doesn't do well, there won't be anything left to fidget with. So I don't know. We'll see how far we get. But I am going to start with this Calathea. I've done a lot of repotting lately. I've just done it on my own time, and I actually washed a bunch of my pots so that I'd have some available because I had just a pile sitting around. This is actually not too tight in here, which is a wonderful thing. I don't know if it's been in here very long. Alright, that was easy enough. I can see it, the whole plant moving. Oh, I forgot, it's got a little butterfly stuck in it. It can go in the pot, the new pot. Okay, the roots look good. But yeah, soil all the way to the bottom, and I definitely broke some of the roots pulling it up out of there. But they look okay. Like the ones I didn't break, I mean. I'm not going to worry about getting every bit of the soil off, just the loose stuff. It looks fine. It's less chunky than what I would use, but then it's a Calathea, so it was probably appreciating it. I'm gonna put it in this pot, right? Sure, room to grow. I might have to mix more soil. I don't have a ton in here. Not a ton. Today is one of those days, and I have more than I'd like to admit, where I just don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like repotting. But like I said, I've done a lot of it lately. I couldn't even tell you how many plants I've repotted in the last maybe 4 or 5 days. A lot. Some of them were the plants that I was showing in the Good, Bad, Ugly video that just had some sort of issue that might have needed to be addressed. Like, actually another Calathea back here. Yeah, Calathea Warwickii. I repotted that and went ahead and treated that again for spider mites, and I don't know, I'm just burnt out on the constant repotting, it seems like. But that's, you know, part of plants. Part of having plants is that they constantly need something, whether it's water or care of some other type, pest treating, you know. It's alright. I think I just watered, no, I haven't watered this one at all. I was going to say, I think I just watered this. I just watered that one, but I didn't water this one since I brought it home a week ago tomorrow, maybe? So yeah, I'll definitely need to give this a drink. I didn't notice any pests on it, and I still haven't, but I did go ahead and spray it down with some soapy alcohol neem water. Just part of my regular pest maintenance at this point. That looks pretty good in there. I like the clear pot because that way I can kind of monitor what's going on with the roots. I will try to find it a cover pot though, because they turn quite green quickly here. I'll put this little guy back in here because that was cute. Adorable. Perfect. Perfection. Until I can get it some water. I have a varicosum and splendid here that I wanted to put on moss poles. And the splendid I've had for, it'll be a week tomorrow, but the varicosum is actually, I've had it before. I've had the splendid before too. But I don't know exactly which one this is. There's so many different types, you know what I mean? And this is lovely, but I don't know which type it is. It looks different to the type that I've had previously. Like the leaf markings are different. I don't know how to explain that. I mean, it does have the kind of blush on the back. Furry petioles. I don't know. I had sworn this plant off at one point in time. I've tried it once before. I had it for a few years, I guess, but it just never... I wouldn't say it was ever really thriving with me. And a lot of that was pests. That, and I think I just said pretty recently that I struggle a little bit with velvety philodendrons. I'm just tearing this sheath off. Because they seem thirsty. Very thirsty, very pest prone. I don't know. I'm going to try it again. Because I like to punish myself. No, it's a pretty plant, and I would love to have one that was everything I wanted it to be. Whether or not I'll get there, I don't know. And it's pretty much the same with the Splendid. I have had that before. I think about the longest I've had it looking pretty good was maybe about a year. I don't know. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, the moss poles are, they're just poles I'm reusing. So they're sitting in my sink hydrating. Maybe I should wait and let them drip more because they're going to make a mess if I don't. Alright, let's, got a little cactus that I've been meaning to stand back upright. Making a dirty, dirty mess everywhere. Let me go get that cactus. Smirtio cactus, blue flame cactus, something like that. And that's this poor guy right here. It's been on a lean for at least a year. It has got so much stuff on it. But if I can get it repotted back upright like it should be, I'll take it outside and spray it with the hose and hopefully knock a lot of this, the cobwebs and dust bunnies off. I'm not eager to grab it. Because even when I think I'm being careful, I still manage to stab myself. Seems pretty loose around the top anyway, so maybe this won't be this horrible huge thing that I've had built up in my head that has prevented me from messing with this plant for so long, even though it's desperately needed it. My luck, I'll keep pulling on it like that and it'll just slip and I'll hit every spine all the way up this whole cactus. Ow. I don't know that it needs a pot this big. I'm definitely poking myself a little. Okay. Yeah, I don't think it needs a pot that big. But that's really what was holding it upright. I mean, the weight of this pot. I would really like to down pot it just a smidge. Like something that size. But then I need a cover pot. Its little friend that was underneath there doesn't look terrible. The second one, I don't know if you can see it off to the side there. I will show you closer where you can actually, hopefully, potentially see something. Also, I didn't realize I could move the camera angle down quite a bit more and maybe get you a better view even. Hold on, I gotta think about my life and all my decisions. Please don't fall. Again. This poor thing. I don't know, after some thought, I am going to put it right back in the same pot. I think it's going to be okay. And I don't think this is in like cactus and succulent mix. I don't think any of my cactuses or succulents are. So I'm just going to put it in regular potting soil. I'm just knocking some of the stuff off the sides to kind of fill in the bottom down there. I don't think it is any kind of special soil. I used to buy it. But anymore, I'm just like, you know what? Just add more perlite, it's fine. And I'm not going to sink it any deeper than it was either, I don't think. This is the most ridiculous thing ever. I'm so sorry. I just really don't like being poked or stabbed. I'm sure if you've ever done cactuses and spiky plants, then you know. The thing that really worries me is if I ever have to repot this Euphorbia trigona, I think it's called, something like that. It's a lot like the dragon bone cactus, variegated. I don't even know, words are hard, but yeah, it's another one that's got spines all over the place. When I pick it up to move it, it wobbles and hits my body. Smaller cactuses are not so bad. I just grabbed some tongs. Like I have silicone tipped tongs that I use or I used to use because I don't have them anymore. The kinds that just shed the little glochids, the ones that you can't even see the glochids, but you can feel them. I don't know what that is or why it would be in my potting mix. It's like fiber in here, some sort of weird fibers. But yeah, I don't mess with those a whole lot anymore. I would rather have the kind that have obvious spines than the ones that have those invisible spines that you just don't realize it's dropping them all over your windowsill or your furniture or whatever, and go to dust the windowsill and suddenly I'm full of these tiny little spines that I can't see. And then I have to invest in duct tape to get them out. Yeah, I'm using the butter knife to pack the soil because I was repotting an opuntia and I didn't see any spikes, but just below the soil level I went to push down and just below there I stabbed myself pretty good with that. This is so ridiculous looking. I think over time it'll do alright. It was pretty dry. I don't think I've watered it in probably a couple months now, but it's time to start again. Time to start watering it again. Like I said, it's been sitting on my dresser for quite a while, and at some point I stopped giving it light and water because a period of dormancy was probably for the best for this poor thing. I wouldn't say it went fully dormant, but I don't think it was growing much at the time because of the low light and low water. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get it. There's like pieces of bark, like strips of bark, I guess is what that is. That's like a bark strip. It's thin and folded, and I don't know. There's weird stuff in my potting mix. But it's fine. All right, I'm gonna call that good enough after I grab it and smack it just a couple times. Just to kind of help it settle a little bit more. Okay, Pokey Boy. We'll call that one done. All right, was there anything else I wanted to do that didn't require a moss pole? Other than those alocasia. I don't think I am going to mess with that. Alocasia islanii. It's just so small. It's two of them actually, but yeah, they're tiny. And I know sometimes it's best to just go ahead and get them into pond or whatever if you're going to do semi-hydro, like as soon as possible. But the corms were already sprouted in soil, so I'm like, either way I'd be transferring them and upsetting them. I think I am going to go ahead and do these. Let me go get my moss poles and see if they're going to drip everywhere. If they are, I'll be back shortly. If they aren't, I'll be back immediately. Okay, so it's actually just a little drippy. Hi, Shade. Maybe we should do the Splendid first. What do I want to put that in? Do I have a pot that I want to put that in? Of course, I don't have quite the size that I want. Isn't this the story of my life? That's the same size. I would like a clear pot. I have this one here. I don't know where the bottom is. I guess I could do this one with a cover tray or a cover pot. I don't even know what the roots look like, so maybe I should try to figure that out first. The bottom of that pot, just in case. I want to say this is the cover pot it fits in. It's very similar to the Costa Farms pots, but it's actually not. Does anybody remember when Costa Farms had a bunch of those white, plain kind of textured pots, ribbed for her pleasure? This one's a little bit deeper than the Costa Farms pots. Alright, I'm going to see what the roots look like, and hopefully it'll go in that okay. Because I think it won't fall over in there. We'll see. This is going to slobber on the floor. It's fine. I haven't mopped in here yet. Oh, I meant to tip that camera down just a smidge, didn't I? Okay, maybe that's a little bit better. A smidgen. The roots that I can see look good. This is a nice chunky potting mix. I am not going to go picking at it. I'm just going to unvelcro it off this bamboo. Alright. And I am going to try to, I don't know if I will be able to or not, get more of that up underneath the soil. Maybe that's a better reason to use a bigger pot. The bare stem is what I'm talking about there. Because that's more, more room to root from in the future. but it's definitely not all going to fit in here plus the pole. I don't think. Yeah, maybe. We're going to try that. I got to get some soil for the bottom of the pole. I've got a mess all the time. I feel like I'm just poorly prepared for everything I need to do in life at every turn. I'm just not cut out for whatever it is. Alright. Phew, did you just see me throw soil everywhere? Alright, I reckon that'll do. Go this way. Yeah, that's gonna be snug down there. I mean, I think it'll be alright. Sure. We're hoping. Get a little bit of soil down on the bottom of there. Alright. If I just had one more hand, I think this would be easier. Just one more. Oh, I still don't know if I'm going to be able to get that down in there without breaking it. You know what, maybe I can just pull it back against the pole as well, just to kind of keep it out of the way, and if it wants to root into the damp moss down there, maybe it'll do that. I think that's what I'm going to go with, because there's just not enough room to stuff it down into the pot without really bending it back on itself and potentially breaking it, and that's not the goal. I don't want to reroot this. That's not the goal. Alright, that's the new plan. We're ever evolving around here, folks. What is in here? Oh, that's bark. There's something green in here. I don't know what it is. I've got perlite in my hair and I can see it out of the corner of my eye. I flung perlite at myself. That's a really big perlite. Oh, there it went. It fell out. Try to get some soil around the back there too, to kind of help hold this pole in place. But I don't want it to lean forward at all. I would, rather have it leaning back. I dropped the plant on myself. I really feel like I should get that clipped on or velcroed on before I break it. Okay. I'll just get some of those little, like, orchid clips. I think I've got some somewhere. I was just cleaning in here yesterday and saw them. I can't remember. Can't remember. I'll figure it out, though. And if all else fails, then I know I have some Velcro here. I would rather not Velcro it, though. I'd rather just clip it. It's probably because that's easier. That's alright, though. Alright, and I think I do have it slightly leaning backwards. That's not too bad. It looks a little bit weird. Oh, the clips. Nope, that's not it. Those are the bags for over the I'm gonna find those clips real quick because I will forget to do this and then it'll be moot. There we go. I actually got them with some plants off Palm Tree a while back and didn't use them. I think there's 5 in there. That'll be helpful between the 2 plants. I'm gonna use 2 on this one. What did I do with the tiny tag? That's so cute. I'm putting that back in there. It's the smallest little tag. That'll be lost for sure. It's just a tiny, tiny thing. I'm just pushing this back basically so it doesn't get caught on anything. And maybe I'll get lucky and it'll root in there a little bit. Because, you know, that'll be helpful. The more roots, the merrier, right? Sure. Okay. So that's the Philodendron Splendid. Looks a little silly right now, but I have faith it'll be fine. This one will be okay until I'm done for water. I think I did give it a little bit of water with some of the mosquito bit tea, which I did get around to making, and watering a bunch of things with. This one here. This one's really wet. Really wet. I don't know if I should be suspicious of how wet it is or not. We'll see. Yeah, this is the varicose. It's so very damp. The roots actually look okay. Surprisingly not rotted at all. But yeah, this is very, it's a very light mix, but it's also, it's not exactly ate up with drainage other than a little bit of perlite. Not a ton of bark or anything like that in here. So I'm going to get some of this off here. I definitely can't put this in a big, huge pot. This has a smaller root system than that did. Yeah, for as muddy as the roots are, though, they actually look pretty decent. Can you see down? They don't look bad. A little muddy. There's just stuff falling off. Alright. Let me go grab the moss pole. It might actually fit into... Nope, every time I do that, it makes a plant angry. Put it into a plant that's barely wider than the moss pole. Put the plant into a pot that's barely wider than the moss pole. Words are so hard. That doesn't work out great. I've done that before, and I've definitely killed plants like that before. They just dried really, really fast. Step 1, moss pole. I apparently picked the dirtiest moss pole in the house. These are used moss poles, by the way. I've used them once before for something else. I did not take the moss out. I just set them aside to dry out. And I've been kind of doing that for a while now. And it doesn't seem to hurt anything, even if it had roots in it already. Like in the moss itself, I mean. As long as the moss isn't breaking down, I'm not too terribly worried about it. And the moss is in pretty good shape in here, so I just got to figure out what kind of pot to put it in. I would like a clear pot, but all I have is really big ones left, or really small ones. I've got this one, but this is a real problem. There's very little room in there, and when the moss pole is wet and the soil is dry, it goes over. Even in a heavy cover pot, it still wants to fall over. It could work, I guess, if I cut the bottom out on the front side so that the roots still have room to exist. I feel like I'm probably asking for trouble. I don't have many cover pots that'll work. I They gotta be chunky. Do I do this? Do I go rogue and try to stuff it into a pot when I know better? I mean, yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. It's either a pot that's too small or a pot that's too big. There's no winning, is there? I don't have anything in between size. I would really like, I think that's a 4-inch. I'd like a 5 or 6 inch, but this is an 8-inch. I wonder if I have any bark. If I have enough bark to fill up the bottom of the pot, it'll probably be fine. Those famous last words, it's probably going to be fine. I found a tower pot in a different size. 6-inch tower pot. That could work, right? I mean, that's significantly smaller than that. Around the top, it's deeper. Does it matter? Bark is my friend. I'll just put some bark in the bottom to have less volume sitting wet beneath the plant. This is all working out fine in my head. Sure. Yeah. I'm gonna get some in the bottom of the pole too. Making a mess. Alright. And these pots have like a raised bit in the center, which I would like to go into the pole. Maybe I should dump that out of the way for a minute. Yeah, see, it's got like a raised bit in there. There we go. Probably don't need that much of this. I mean, I still want it to have some room to root down, and some soil's going to fall in there anyway. Am I justifying this to myself? Maybe a little. Okay. This way? Yeah. I'm gonna say that way. Where's those clips? I really wish I had more of these clips. I had a bunch of clear ones, but I've lost that whole package. It's in here somewhere. Well, it's in here or it's upstairs. I don't know. I haven't been in that room a whole lot lately. I did do some tidying up there recently because it seems like I don't know. I just abandoned it. You know what I mean? So I just go up there when I'm looking for something, grab it, and then run back out of there. I haven't done any like cleaning or organizing, only it seems like mess making. And then leaving it for future gen to deal with. This isn't going to go around this stem, it's too thick already. Scissors would be super. Will this reach until I go get some scissors? Scissors. I think it will. It might be snug. Real snug. Okay, I wouldn't trust that to hold long term, but for now it's going to hold it. It looks like. I'm going to set these somewhere else and make a mess. Probably step on them later. I bet it's like Legos when you step on plant clips. Did I pull that up? No? Okay. I don't have a ton of soil left. This might be all I get to today. I have like bark, perlite, and vermiculite, but I don't think I have any like cocoa or peat or tree fern fiber or anything left. I have some like really peat heavy, like I'd amend garden soil with it. I wouldn't use it indoors. I have some of that, but I'm just not brave enough. It was stored outdoors, and I mean a lot of potting mixes and soils, big box store stuff is stored outdoors, and that's part of the reason why we have such issues with fungus gnats. But yeah, I'm trying to get the fungus gnats under control, so I don't really want to increase the likelihood that they're going to hatch out of that if I use it to mix up soil. I'm not that pressed for it, you know what I mean? I can wait till I can go to the other store and get some. My cat. He would like me to stop playing with plants and feed him anyway. Wouldn't you guess? What have you got all over you? He should never have been born a white cat. He just goes outside and rolls in the driveway, lays down in the mud. He's a unique guy. I'll put it that way. Hang in there, Gus. You ain't falling off to nothing. Okay. So that's fine. I'm sure that's fine. Got an air pocket right at the front from a piece of bark in the way. A big old piece of bark. Maybe I should top that up a little bit more now. Good to my eye. Okay. This is pretty wet, so I'll wait maybe till tomorrow morning before I water it. The root mass itself, and I didn't get all the soil off, so I'm just going to let it dry a bit. Let that water disperse through some of the surrounding soil before I go ahead and give it a drink tomorrow. Yeah, varicosum, cute. Let's hope I do better with this one than I did with my last one. You know, some plants I've tried 2 or 3 times with before I've given up. Some of them probably more than that. But I think that's only my second varicosum. The other one I had in some shape or form for a few years. It just never went well. But it was a different type of varicosum. Like I said, it looked very different than that to me. I don't know. I guess there's 3 or 4 different varieties of varicosum, which I didn't know was a thing. But I'm still learning, constantly learning more all the time. Yeah, I'm going to clean up this mess and go feed him before he riots. I'm going to wait on the other stuff before I repot it until I can actually get some somewhat decent potting soil, potting mix. But yeah, I've got the, I think it's the alocasia, which I might not even need potting mix for, but I think I want to let that wait a bit. Maybe get a little bit more growth on it before I go and upset it, because it's small, very small. I think there's 2, and they are both like 2-leafers at the Aslanii. So yeah, I guess that's going to do it for me today. But yeah, thank you for watching, thank you for hanging out with me, and come back and check me out again soon. Bye.